You've been losing power your entire life, and you probably never even noticed. Every single day, you and I, we unknowingly give away our most valuable asset without a second thought.
Just think about that for a second. Every time you explain yourself to someone who's just determined to misunderstand you, you're literally handing them the keys to your emotional state. This isn't just some vague philosophy, it's a fundamental power dynamic we all live by.
So this really presents us with a choice, a fork in the road. On one side, you've got this path of constant reaction, chasing after validation, explaining every move you make. But on the other side, there's the path of strategic withdrawal, observing, waiting, being still. One path absolutely drains you, while the other builds your power from the inside out.
And that brings us to a really crucial way of thinking about all this. I want you to start thinking of your attention not as something that's free, but as the most valuable and totally finite currency you own.
And here's the brutally honest truth, right? This forces us to ask a really tough question. Where is our most expensive currency actually going? Are you truly investing it in something or someone that gives you a return? Or are you just throwing it away?
Now, to really master this strategy, we've got to go back in time. I'm talking about 500 years ago, to look at the philosophy of the guy who basically wrote the original playbook on power, Niccolò Machiavelli.
See, Machiavelli wasn't interested in being nice or fair. He was interested in what worked. And what he saw, time and again, was that the ruler who responded to every little insult, who answered every single critic, he just looked weak, insecure. But the prince who withdrew, the one who stayed silent, that guy, he was feared.
So, this is the key takeaway. Silence isn't passive. It's not empty. It is an active declaration. It's like putting up a wall that says everything without saying a word. It communicates your status and your self-worth way more powerfully than any argument ever could.
Okay, so let's jump from philosophy to hard science. What is actually happening inside somebody's brain when you decide to strategically ignore them?
And this is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Being ignored doesn't just hurt someone's feelings. Their brain literally, and I mean literally, processes it as an injury. It creates this state of internal panic that they just can't easily shake.
And this predictable loop is exactly where the power is. First, that pain hits them. Then, their mind desperately scrambles to solve the puzzle of your silence. And finally, you start to occupy their thoughts, rent-free. You become this obsession, all while you're doing absolutely nothing.
And that, right there, is the end game. By withholding your attention, you're not trying to get revenge. No, you are delivering something so much more powerful. You're making them irrelevant. You are treating them as if they simply do not exist.
So, how do we actually do this? How do we turn all this knowledge into a practical strategy you can use? How do you withdraw effectively without just, running away from the problem?
The real art is in the subtlety. You can be physically right there in the room, but your energy, your focus, your entire inner world, it's somewhere else entirely. It means giving short, polite, but totally emotionally empty answers. You conserve your emotional resources, and you only deploy them for battles that you know are worth fighting.
So who do you use this on? Well, the source material is pretty clear on 3 specific groups. First, your enemies, the people who actively want to see you fail. Second, the critics, not the helpful ones, but the ones who only exist to tear you down. And third, the energy vampires. You know that person. Their every conversation is a crisis that needs your emotional energy to solve. Giving any of them your focus is a massive strategic mistake.
Now, when you consistently apply this philosophy, this psychology, and this strategy, it all starts to come together. It converges into this powerful new state of being.
Let's be honest. Most of us live here, in this before state. We're tethered by these invisible chains to what other people think. A nice comment can make our day. A mean one can totally ruin it. It's a kind of emotional slavery, really. But the goal, the real goal, is to get here, to the after state, to become sovereign. This is where your validation comes from the inside. You are the sole ruler of your own inner kingdom, and you get to decide who gets an invitation.
And this is maybe the most important distinction to make. This isn't about becoming cruel or cold to the world. It is about self-mastery. It's about reserving your warmth, your words, and your precious energy for the people and the goals that truly matter to you.
So ultimately, you can think of every interaction as a kind of chess game. You can react to every single move your opponent makes, or you can control the entire board with quiet, deliberate inaction. The choice is always yours. Are you the player,
Or are you just a piece being played?